Good afternoon, it's Jazz. It's the West Ham Irons channel. It's the West Ham Daily News Show. Let's see what's been going in and out, in and about, shaky all about around our club. Not probably going to do a transfer show today. It hasn't been any further meaty, juicy development since yesterday. Whether that's about sort of Jhon Durán that we're going to bit more today about different things about the transfer or anyone else really. So we're back with the West Ham Daily News and let's get started with some not so interesting news compared to transfers. We all love transfers, as you know, so I'll bring those towards the end. So again, let's start off with Karen Brady. So it's all about the obviously West Ham fans are rightly very upset about the lot of the concessions that have been removed by the club. Karen Brady in her own way. Canning Town Len, Brady out. But yeah, Karen Brady in her own style has retaliated, made a comeback, call it what you want. But she said that making football family cheap is kind of a priority. Our small price uplift this season meant we continue to invest in our playing squad, and it still means that our season tickets are one of the cheapest, some of the cheapest in the Premier League. And she will continue to work with the fans next season, try and find the right balance between growing responsibly and sustainably, ensuring supporters have the opportunity to come and watch the team they love, and also keep the prices low, and also put money into the coffers. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. I've always thought about that. If you put prices up, £10 here, £20 here, charge someone £15 for a burger instead of 10, that's not really going to make any real difference in the finances of a club. What will make a difference is when you pay an agent 1 million instead of 3 million, when you perhaps pay a player 10, 20, 30,000 less per week. If you do those kind of savings over the 3-4 year contract and the agent fees, that's where your real saving is. That's where your real saving is. Not trying to get a few pounds here and there out the fan really. But that's kind of first news to tackle. That Karen Brady's not having none of it. She's not having none of it out you lot. Lopetegui, Lopetegui. You're probably going to call him J-Lo going forward. He wants a minimum use of domestic flights. So he wants to use coaches as and when possible. He thinks that will encourage more of a higher team morale, encourage more chat between the players. So that's fine. That's fine. I think go for it, J-Lo. If you think it works, go for it. Give it a try. See how it goes. Because I'm seeing also that you buy players from different backgrounds. In the last 2-3 years, when they show the training ground, then you normally notice things like the French players are in one corner, so that's Agard, Zuma, Areola, one or two others, and the British boys are over there doing something else, and then someone else somewhere, and the Brazilians are over there. And then how's your English going to improve if you keep speaking in that language in your mini clubs? You see what I mean? So this will encourage, and it's a bit of those where you remember when you used to start new jobs and new courses, they encourage you to sit with someone you don't know so that you get to know them. So it's very good. So you could have things like where you're forced to sit next to someone you don't normally do every coach trip. I think that's an excellent idea. Then I would encourage you got to travel a lot earlier, isn't it? So if you've got Newcastle away, I would go on the Thursday. If it's a Saturday game, go on the Thursday, check in Thursday night, train Friday somewhere local, and then you're all right that way, and then coming back, not much of a problem, I didn't think. So go for it, son. The more new ideas, the better, mate, the better. West Ham's Carlton Cole has come out and said that he is very excited by West Ham being linked to sign Carl Walker-Peters from Southampton. And same as me, 27 years old, can play left back, can play right back. I believe he was Southampton's Player of the Year, I think. So, he wasn't really meant to playing the championship, but he did us a favour. And then towards the end, when he got promoted, you could hear fans saying, one more season, talking about Carl Walker Peters. So he's very well liked from Tottenham. And the fee seems to be quite reasonable, although it's dragging on a bit. The discussions are dragging on. But then Southampton are risking upsetting West Ham over Downs, who was one of their top 3 players last season. So which way does Southampton want to play it, really? So that's Mr. Carlton Cole, the superstar. Right. A lot of strikers' names are going to be linked with West Ham, and that's okay. That's okay because you make a bid. Actually, let me bring it in now. About Jhon Durán. We've made a £35 million bid plus 10% sell-on clauses. What that tells me, which is good news for you guys, is that we got the money set aside to buy a striker at last, right? That's the good news. If he signs, that's the good news. If he doesn't, I think it's still good news. We'll move on to target 2. We move on to target 3. We'll move into target 4. That's the good news, gentlemen. Whether this chap comes in or not, we're going to buy a striker in and around this amount. That's excellent, right? That's where Tony comes in. A lot of you guys, a lot of you channels been talking about Ivan Toney. I don't want to talk about him a lot because you guys all know about him. Fantastic player, no risk, hit the ground running, proper player, right? Bit of a bastard, proper character, right? But I think he's down the list a bit. The main reason is he's 28. He's going to be 29 in December, something like that. And I don't want to go down that Ward-Prowse route. With respect to Ward-Prowse, there's no resale value. It's not a good business decision, right? So I'm happy that we're not going for Ivan Toney as our number 1. We should have grabbed him all those years ago when Barry Fry, good old Barry Fry from Peterborough, told Sullivan to have a look at this guy, and we, for one reason or another, I think it was Sam Allardyce's time, they kind of said no. The same time when they said no to Vardy. Oh dear. But anyway, so it's good. You know, you got the Mets guy, Georgia star, Georges Mikatadze. He's in the list as well. There's a couple of others in the list. Broja's still in the list on loan if we want it. So so the main thing is 35 million will be for the main striker. If we've got any loose change left over, then let's grab slightly cheaper one as well. Like I said, we need 2 of everything, really. So yeah, I don't want to do a show at him because it's not close to happening. He's not high up on our list. He's on the list, but not high up. So that's kind of with him. Paquetá stories every single day. He's crying, missed a penalty. His family are suffering. Boo-hoo. Neymar's come out and said, oh yeah, don't worry, brother. All that shit. He wants to go. Well, Flamengo have pulled out the race now because they wanted him cheap on the loan. We told them to fuck off. So they've pissed off. I don't know what fucking else he's trying to do. There's some kind of three-man panel, is it, who's going to decide? The worst thing is they're going to decide probably one day before the game at Villa, which is not good for West Ham. So that is just still bubbling along, everyone. It's still bubbling along. We want to keep him. I think if someone bid close to 30, 40 million, we'll get rid of him because I think this story is going to bob along a lot. If that deadline passes and he can play, then he can. But I don't know what the deadline should correspond with the transfer deadline. I think if you want to take the man down or ban him, do it before the first game at Villa. Then we more or less know what's going on. We don't want to keep going on because I don't know, you might not be in the right head to play and all that fucking shit in it. So that's kind of on that one, everyone, you naughty people. Danny Ings, our beloved granddad. Danny Ings, the hair looks superb. The operation he done is brilliant. I thankfully am never going to get it. I'm 50 years old. I've got more hair than anyone. So is my old man. Kids love me for it. Dad, we know we ain't going to lose a hair because of you. But anyway, Danny Ings, we're trying to flog him. We can't do it. It's very, very hard. He's on stupid amount of wages. We've tried offering him to Southampton. He's initially turned it down. Southampton are going to try and keep having a word with him. I think this one, let's see who we bring in because he's a good lad. I like him. But the thing with him, you got to play him with 2 up front. So it's not his fault, right? Even when I bought him, I told you guys, we got to think of a formation to play 2 up front to bring this guy in. But obviously, it looks like Sullivan brought him in. All those things that used to go on the circus. And Moyes stuck him in the fridge, didn't bring him out. He's allowed out to get his hair operation. That's about it, right? So if you're going to keep him, we've got to play 2 up front. Don't waste his time and don't waste my time, mate. All right? So get rid of him. I think it could be a loan deal where we supplement the wages. It might be something like that. We'll see what happens. So that's kind of on that. Um, Jhon Durán. Yeah, Jhon. Actually, before we come to Jhon Durán, because Jhon Durán is the main man at the moment, the main story at the moment. I want to keep it till the end. So, like I mentioned, Max Kilman has come in, the main man, captain, probable captain, starter. We ideally want to get a Gerd and Zuma out. I saw another picture of a Gerd training, miserable little shit. Fucking, I can't remember last time he smiled. Probably when he's playing in the African Nations Cup for Morocco at West Ham. He's a miserable little shit. Quick goes are fucking better for me. Can't even defend. I don't know why Morocco blows fucking fire up his arse or the other way around. I don't know what you call it, but not for me, mate. Man can't mark, can't do fuck all. Yeah, so that's it. So yeah, Kilman's come in. There's no limitations how many transfers we're going to do in this window. It all depends on how many people we shift out. We've got 5-6 places already in the squad, as I said. But when you look at a Gerd, you look at Zuma, one or two others, Downs, then we could get more in. And that's why I said we are talking to Jean-Claire Todibo of Nice, 24-25. I think the managers reached out to him a couple of days ago. We're interested. We want him. But again, I hope it's not the Sullivan policy where we won't be able to bring him in until we get rid of a Gerd or Zuma. I mean, a Gerd, having said what I said about him, there is people that want him. And I'm sure a deal could be done for him, right? But I don't like doing this thing where our targets might go somewhere else. And then when by the time we get rid of someone with 2 days to go before the end of the window, that's when the panic sets in. Who's left on the window? That's how we got Ben Rama and people like that. I don't want none of that happening, right? So that's the good news is we are looking for more and more defenders. Walker Peters already mentioned. We realised we had one of the worst defences last season. Got to sort it out. Really. Right, now on to Jhon Durán. Right, Jhon Durán. Lots of things overnight. A lot of messages between West Ham fans and Aston Villa fans up there. Villa are saying, apparently John McGinn's saying he's got a bad character. I think John McGinn's a plunker himself. We've had people like Arnie, Paquetá, De Kenya, one of the best players in the modern age for West Ham. So I don't give a shit what they do after the game, whether they do some naughty recreational activity, shall we say, or do whatever, go clubbing. Frank McAvenny, so McAvenny, Arnie, Julian Dix, great. The more naughty you are, the more we love you, the more you do it on the pitch. Julian Dix never used to do any warm-ups. Mars bar and a can of Coke, and that's it. What a player, right? Frank McAvenny used to come in probably 2-3 in the morning, match days, score double goal. We love Mackie. Arnie, fucking hated everyone. No loyalty. What a great player, right? DeCanio often used to just walk off the training ground and go home. So I fucking don't want to play. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what I've seen of him in the clips. The man's a real player. Good player. Got confidence in his ability. He's one of those. You need one of those in every team. A bastard, one of those, right? I've got no problems with that. But to be fair, the comments are probably 25% saying watch out, be wary. But the other 75 are from Villa fans is quite complimentary, saying there's a great player in there. And I'm sure that a Pellegrini experience, not Pellegrini, fucking hell, experienced Lopetegui can get something good out of him, stabilise him and things like that, really. Every signing's a risk, and I think this is a less one because he's hit the ground running every time he's been required in the Premier League. A great age, great risk, great meaty, juicy risk, one of those everyone likes to take, really. 10 caps for Colombia. He's out there at the moment. Terms already agreed. So is Durán a bad character? My response, I don't give a shit. Actually, the worse the better. I don't give a shit. It's our club. That's West. We're not fucking Fulham Football Club. We're not one of these. Bring it on, mate. Bring it on. Bring the tattoos on. Bring the earrings on. Bring it all on, mate. I don't give a shit. I just want to see a proper player who gives it one on the pitch. Like we give it out on the turnstiles, and that's it. I'm happy with that, really. So that's it for today. So it's a bit of Karen Brady, crappy news from her, a bit of like no more domestic flights from the top boss J-Lo. Carlton Cole wants Walker Peters. Ivan Toney's in the list, but a little bit down, so I'm not going to do a show on it. Waste your time. Jhon Durán is still in there. He's still in there. We love him. The more than that, the better. I hope some more stories come out of him. Some more stories I want of him. But no, but joking aside, I don't really look into those too much. Don't forget how much it takes to get to someone that creative. He's a hard worker. It's obvious from Colombia, hard life out there. But he's creamed up to the top. Played in the MLS. Ended up in the Premiership, the best league there is, and about to move to the best club in the world, West Ham. Hopefully, fingers crossed. What more do you want, really? So don't listen to those naughty stories, really. So that's it from me. One thing left to say: come on, England! Come on, Southgate! Is it coming home? I hope it is. I hope it's a good game like last night. I've just seen the starting lineup or a good guess of it, and I'm not fucking happy. But I'll leave that for another show. Gareth Southgate. Don't really have much time for that geezer. But hopefully get through to the final, and we'll see what happens, really. But good luck to the boys out there and the fans watching out there. I shall see you as soon as the next show.